Hello, my biddies. How are you today? I am tired. We're helping my sister-in-law move, so I went over to her house and helped her pack a bunch of stuff. My husband went over too. That's what he's been doing when he's gone those days, is helping her pack up. She's elderly, so and she's been in her house for 35 years, so it's a big chore. She has friends coming over almost every day to help her pack. I told her she doesn't get to have hobbies right now. Her hobby is moving. uh, so I hope my daughter's okay. I haven't heard from her since Friday when they went camping. I hope she's not like she's we're supposed to meet up tonight. Her birthday was on Saturday. So I'm hoping that she makes it home in time. I'm gonna try and call her later. I texted her a couple times and haven't heard from her, but they could still be sleeping in their tent. Who knows? I'm pretty sure they were still camping or they were coming home today. So, all right. Let's see what we got here. I don't have any opening statements or anything today because I just don't. Um, Kind of a little achy from lifting boxes and stuff and going through clothes. But we made some good headway yesterday, so that was good. A lot of her knickknacks she had been working on with a friend who might join us here. That would be fun if she did. Um, but her friend was helping her pack up all the little fragile knickknacks she has. Which I mean, 35 years. They had 5,000 book. 5,000 is the estimate for books. Her husband was a book hoarder. Ah, that man could read. He could read. Um, so I guess we'll just get into it then. Uh, okay, I screwed up, guys. I screwed up big time. Um, you know how you have like a little bit of a week and then 3 weeks and then a little bit of a week? We have 4 full weeks this month. I didn't realize. So I scheduled for 3 weeks. 3 full weeks. And then the end and the beginning. No, no, we have 4 full weeks. So I have a week where I don't have any content added up because I go through them and then well, they're automatically like layered. So I start at the bottom of my list and go up, which is the bottom of the list is the lowest rated one, and then it goes up. Yeah, I don't have any content for this week. So this week we are just going to do a hodgepodge. What I did was I went through all of my emails on both of my accounts. I don't know why Reddit sends me email to my Biddy Brunch Bunch account because they shouldn't even have that. They shouldn't even have that email because all I've done is email stuff to myself from there. Not even using that email, using my normal email. So I don't know how they did that. They spying on you, people. Everybody's spying on you. Um, yeah, they're spying on you. Everyone. I sent one thing to my husband a couple weeks ago, and I have gotten so many ads for that. So many. It was like one of those retirement seminars. So many ads everywhere. Everywhere on my games that I play on my phone. I just play games on my phone. On my games that I play on Facebook, everywhere. It's ridiculous. They're spying on us. They're so spying on us all the time. Can't get away from it. Might as well embrace it. So this is from so we'll start with best of Redditor updates. And this has a new update. Um, like I said, this is from just the emails. They send you if you're on Reddit, they'll send you an email that has like 4 or 5 different um posts. that you can look at. A lot of mine on my normal account are from Michigan because I live in Michigan. So, Michigan State, Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo stuff, all that kind of stuff. Um, I don't usually read those because they're local and boring. But these are the ones that popped up that are actually might be interesting. Might be because I don't read them ahead of time. All right, new update. My 38 female sister, 34 female, made up a dead brother to her spouse, 35 male, and in laws, 60s male and female. I accidentally outed the lie, but why am I the bad guy here? Oh my. The original post was from April 11th of 2025. Um, Usually a lurker, but something happened last night. Something happened tonight. I'm sorry. Usually a lurker, but something happened tonight that has me incredibly confused. Apologies in advance for the length. So it's gonna be long. Yay! We like long ones. I like long ones. They're they get a little more interesting. Although some of the short ones are really funny. Backstory: I'm the eldest of four sisters. We stair step 2 years apart. I'm Meg, 38. Joe is 36. Beth is 34, and Amy is 32. I love how they use Little Women. It's great. Our parents used to joke about how they kept trying for a boy, but finally gave up after girl number four. I know people who've done that myself. Not gonna lie, it hurt our feelings a little, especially Amy, but they stopped that and assured us they wouldn't change anything. Oh, that's nice. Every one of us has at least one daughter. I'm the only sister that has a son. At 17, he's the eldest grandchild, and I'm fairly certain he's my dad's favorite person in the world. They are best friends. It's adorable. Yeah, my grandsons, they absolutely adore my husband. They also adore my son-in-law, and they adore their uncle on the other side. They they're cute. They're just um they went to the uh my daughter and her family took them to the um zoo recently, and the 4-year-old was going, "Where's Gabe? Is Gabe gonna be here?" Expected my son-in-law to just show up at the zoo because that's what he does apparently. They have taken him to the zoo a few times. Okay, now you have the backstory, fam history. Let's talk about tonight. My son, who is very intelligent and absolutely crushed high school, recently received his acceptance letter to a pretty prestigious university full ride. Good for him. Good job, kiddo. We are incredibly proud. My folks want to throw him a little congratulatory party, and tonight worked for all of our schedules, which was no small feat. Four different families, 11 kids between them, so we all headed to the folks' house for pizza and cake. That's pretty low key. That's pretty low key. Usually graduation party you have like I mean if this was just for getting into the college, I can see that. But that kid deserves a huge graduation party if he wants one. If he wants one. My youngest didn't even want one. At one point, Amy brought up that it's sibling appreciation day, and mom said she wanted all of her girls to say what we appreciated about her sisters. And we go youngest to oldest, with the most compliments going to me as I was kind of a second mom to them. I told each of my sisters how much I love them, among other things, and then finished my speech with something. And I really appreciate that we didn't have any gross boys stinking up our house. All of us but Beth and her husband laughed. Beth's eyes got really big, and her husband Chase looked at me like I was something he scraped off the bottom of his shoe. Suddenly he says, "That's pretty effed up." I said something like, "I don't know, no, Chase, I've smelled you after your workouts. It's pretty bad." And he got even more mad and said, "How can you talk about Tyler like that?" And Beth starts losing her mind, guys. She's grabbing him by the arm, begging him to hush, saying they need to go home now, etc. So naturally, I'm like, who's Tyler? Yeah, who is Tyler? Beth, who's Tyler? Who's Tyler? Well, friends, apparently Tyler is Beth's twin that died during childbirth. Oh, that's interesting. I bet you. Oh, my goodness. And it made our folks and me so depressed that no one is allowed to speak of him or reference him ever. Beth forbade him from ever mentioning it to any family member. Red flag. I need a red flag. Somebody might make me a red flag. I heard through the grapevine. Might be our new member. Um, After Chase told us, nobody said a word. It was so damn tense. Finally, I just kind of bluntly said, "Hi, Mo. I'm not sure why, but Beth lied to you about this. I think you guys should talk about it, but I don't want to hear anything about this tonight, as we're here to celebrate my son." After that, Beth broke into tears and ran to her old bedroom with Chase, Mom and Joe following her. The party could never fully recover, and they took off pretty shortly after that. I stayed to help clean so my dad and my son could hang some more. While I'm doing my dishes, my mom scolded me pretty harshly about calling Beth a liar. If the baby shoe fits, mother. My father said I wasn't wrong, but I embarrassed Beth. Well, Beth shouldn't be lying if Beth doesn't want to be embarrassed. Don't lie. That's a ridiculous lie. Ridiculous. Like you don't lie about your birth. Silly. What the heck? How was I supposed to do? I was getting chastised over a lie? Absolutely not. Beth also texted me that I effed her over, and a text from Chase's phone told me I was the actual liar sister, and everyone knows that. Amy is on my side, but she and Beth have always butted heads. Joe claims she's neutral, but she also told me I didn't have to call her out like that. What else was I supposed to do? Just take the lashing? And why is everybody acting like me calling out what I consider to be a pretty heavy lie is worse than the lie itself? How to resolve this situation? I love my sisters so damn much. They are best friends, but this is so weird and wrong to put it on me. Yeah, I agree. It's weird. Why is the family all concerned about Beth? What? Is Beth the golden child? Is Beth like is Beth violent? Like why are you capitulating to Beth? It's kind of crazy. Commenter 1, I can't imagine any other response. I really can't. You weren't seriously expected to lie along with her. I think that is shocking. OOP, I have no idea what she was expecting. I have lied for her before, but saying that she's at my house while she's getting boudoir pictures done for him is not the same. Yeah, not the same as lying about a whole person who never existed. It's beyond bizarre. Yeah, that's different. Doing that's covering for her doing something nice. So it is completely different than making up a whole person that never existed. Commenter number 2. I'm kind of impressed after all that she managed to convince her husband that you were the liar. Of course she still believes her. He's dumb as a brick. I don't think there's enough proof on her birth certificate as it will say it was a single birth. I will say Chase is not a dummy. He's typically not malicious. Although nobody really backed me up about this being a lie, at least not in front of me. I think it's pretty obvious I was telling the truth as everyone was obviously confused and dead silent at the moment. I've not responded to the text as I'm not looking to burn bridges. I have made many mistakes and my sisters have graciously forgiven them. I'm just flummoxed and it hurt. This is commenter number 3. This is very weird. I'm confused at why your parents aren't embarrassed on your sister's behavior. Yeah, I would be. Especially trying to keep up with the lie afterwards saying you were lying. Is she mentally okay? Does she have a history of lying? That's what I'm thinking. Is she mentally okay? That was a better way to put it than I did. OOP. We all lied as kids. I assume she grew out of it as an adult. I also exhibited some attention seeking behavior, but again, age appropriate, especially for a family with 4 kids and 2 parents who worked full time. My parents weren't hippies and very much live and let live kind of. My parents are hippies and very much a live and let live kind of vibe, but this feels icky to me. I'm I'm a little surprised they're not more upset about it. Then again, they never punished us in front of each other, so they could be dealing with it or planning to deal with the situation behind the scenes. Either way, Beth is way too old to be making up dead sibling stories. That's true. Commenter number 4. Your sister dug herself a weird hole, and now she's mad she has to dig her way out of it, and is placing that anger on you for accidentally handing her the shovel. If she wants to blame anyone for being caught in a lie, she can look in a mirror. How do you fix it? Your sister has to pull her head out of her ass and apologize for putting you all in this position. Then you can think about apologizing for being blunt about it. But to be honest, I don't feel you did anything wrong exactly here. You had no idea what was going on. And why are you being accused of being a bad person and literally just wanting the focus back on your son's achievements? It's not like you accidentally spilled a secret you were supposed to keep. Your sister created this entire mess and should probably explain to you guys why she did it. That would be good. OOP, I appreciate your input and kind words. I don't like drama. I also find it best to just kind of stop it in its tracks. And my son, we recently got an autism diagnosis that was formerly referred to as Asperger's. It's messed with his head a little bit. He's always been so bad socially and really struggling to make friends. And as a result, his cousins got the bulk of the attention. He was really proud of himself, and I wanted him to remember this little get together because it was all about him for once. Yeah, that's sad. Commenter number 5. Your sister is a freak weirdo. Yes. Making up a dead twin for what? Sympathy? Attention? Well, it can't be for attention because she didn't tell anybody about her husband, unless she's telling everybody she had uh, a twin. She effed up and everyone knows it. Why anyone would want to cover up her lie is beyond me. She made her bed. Let her deal with the repercussions of this outrageous lie. Question though, did you have your parents, did or have your parents tried to set the record straight with her idiot hubby? Or are they staying silent about this alleged twin baby that never existed? When I told Chase she was lying, nobody backed me up, but I believe it was kind of obvious because nobody refuted my claims. That coupled with Beth frantically trying to get her husband to leave, Chase is smart. He can put two and two together. I mentioned in another comment that our parents never punished us or really got onto us in front of the other. So I'd like to think they're handling this thing on that end behind the scenes and trying to appeal to my dislike of drama and empathy to get me to forgive her. I don't find the lie unforgivable. I think it's bizarre and I don't appreciate it, but I don't think our relationship is over. I love her. I took her on her first date, took her and a boy to get ice cream, and they held hands. We lied to her parents about that one. I helped take care of her when she was postpartum because Chase had to work. She got my heart. I'm on her number 6. And it's an answer to that one. Just to be clear, you do recognize the level of this lie as a mental health disorder, correct? It sure sounds like it to me. Well, I'm not a therapist. This very much sounds like some strain of Mount. I can always say that word. Munchausen's. Munchausen's. Again, not a therapist, just therapy adjacent in training and work, so I have some familiarity to get her some professional help. Yeah, when you work in a place, you kind of pick up on a few things just just by osmosis. This is this isn't just a cry for help. This is a sign of a broken brain that requires professional help and maybe even medical interventions. OOP. I work in healthcare, albeit not directly with the mental health field, but I'm a little familiar with various disorders. I actually do think she's a hypochondriac. One of my nieces is always coming down with something. They are not. Or my sister definitely has Crohn's disease. She doesn't. She won't drink milk if it's within 3 days of the best buy date. Refuses bread pudding because you use old bread to make them. Won't eat brownies I bake from scratch the day before because they're old. So I know she's got some issues, but hey, we all have issues. I'm pretty emotionally closed off except to my spouse and children. But some people think that makes me a B. I try not to be too judgmental because I'm definitely not perfect, but I'm judging the F out of this. As you should be. This is judgy. This is where you can get judgy with your friends and family because it's weird and bizarre. Update April 12th, 2025, the next day. Okay, I think we have some answers regarding the events that occurred last night. And I do want to tell everyone who took the time to give me advice or kind words, thank you. I honestly couldn't read everything. I wasn't am exhausted, but I did get an idea of how I wanted to approach everything thanks to the given advice. My post says it was removed. I'm unsure why, so hopefully this one will stay. Well, it's over here anyway, if you want to see it. Over here in Bowru. I'll get to the update in a few. I just wanted to answer some fact comments real quick. Number one, this was fake. I wish it was. I really wish my mind worked in a way where I could make up things like this. Alas, my imagination is lacking. Two, your parents named you after the Little Women. This is Probably partially to blame for the fake comments. These are just placeholder names I used. Yeah, obviously. Like anybody who thinks they were actually named after the Little Women girls is not right. You guys need to think before you speak. As there are four girls in that novel. My parents are hippies and gave us some pretty noticeable names. If I use their real names off the chance one of our friends read this, I know immediately this was our family. Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, I would never use my sister's real names in a post like this because we're way too unusual. All of us have very, very like unheard of almost names. I think I'm the only one that has a name that somebody else has. I do. If you look up my maiden name, you'll find a lady who lived in Virginia. She's deceased now, but she has my maiden name. Like, that's really weird considering what my name is. And no, I'm not telling you my name. It's Nike for here. Four, it is possible my mom had twins and I just forgot or didn't know about the death. Absolutely not. I was at all of my sister's births. Really? That's kind of weird. I don't remember Joe's, but I do remember Beth and Amy's, and there were no multiples, no deaths, no funerals, no depression. Maybe your mom home birthed. I can't see you taking a little kid to a birth, but I know people home birth and the kids are around. Five, the birth certificate will prove it. Yes, it sure would. Yes, but I'm not about to strong arm my sister into showing her husband her birth certificate. No, her husband should be strong arming her into showing her. You should just tell him, like, go ask her for a birth certificate. It'll prove it. That's what she should do. That's all you have to do. You don't have to strong on her at all. He'll do it. I'm sure. Six, your sister is mentally ill, also the golden child, and you are the scapegoat. I'm not about to say your sister is sick. She is. But I do think she has some issues, as we all do. Not like that. There's no golden child or scapegoat in my family. My parents are really good about treating all of us fairly and equally. Well, that's good. That's good. Unless she's the golden child. Unless she's the golden child and she just don't know. Seven, you should have been more tactful, pulled her aside, not called her a liar. No, she's a liar. She should be called a liar. Had I known that Tyler was my dead brother, wouldn't have asked who it was. Chase and I tease each other a lot, and honestly, I thought this was about to come out as some funny joke, a la D's nuts. Regarding my lack of tact, I don't know. I think it's pretty lacking in tact to make up a whole dead sibling. And really, facts are facts. She lied, and that's it. That's that. The night was about my son, so I squashed the issue and chose to move on or move forward, hoping to end the conversation with as little drama as possible. And now we still have drama. Damn it. Okay, so now to the update. After a night of barely sleeping, my blood pressure dangerously high, I called my mom this morning, fully ready to let out an emotional, uh, charged tirade about how I feel about how unfairly they threw me under the bus when they took Beth's side. After a night of barely sleeping and my blood pressure dangerously high, I called my mom this morning, fully ready to let out an emotionally charged tirade about how I feel they unfairly threw me under the bus and took Beth's sides when she objectively did the worst thing. My mom answered the phone, apologizing to me to just listen. When she and Joe followed Beth and Chase to Beth's bedroom, Mom did tell Chase that Tyler was not real and this was an issue between her and Chase and they should probably leave because she didn't want the evening ruined. She did get on to me, but it was mostly out of sympathy and empathy for Beth, and she recognized it wasn't okay and she apologized for that. Well, that's good. That's good. Good mom. She spoke with Chase this morning, and Beth, who is the one who sent me the text from Chase's phone, finally came clean this morning after hours of denying the lie. Something I didn't mention, as I didn't feel it was pertinent to the story, is Beth's oldest daughter, Madison, isn't Chase's biological daughter. He's been around since Madison was 2. Also, kind of pertinent is that Chase is a first responder. He loves to be the hero, and he is very good in that role. He met Beth doing victims advocacy and such. I believe they both view him as saving Beth. This has been a long speculated, but it's not exactly our place to say anything. And we all love Chase. He's an amazing person. a little red flag for trying to fix people. um, in a relationship. In a relationship, rarely goes well. Rarely. And Beth is no dummy. She picked up on Chase's complex immediately. It appears that in an effort to make herself look more sympathetic, vulnerable, broken, she lied about having a twin brother that died in childbirth. I guess being in an abusive relationship and having a small child just wasn't enough. Two question marks. She did not have to do that. They've been together for 10 years now, and not once has she come clean. To me, that proves a clear pattern of deceit and manipulation. However, I'm not going to speculate about her mental health problems or reasonings for not coming clean. That is for her and her husband to deal with. Hmm. I really wonder how Chase feels about this because that she has lied to them their entire relationship. That's horrible. Like she's lied to him their entire relationship. Don't do that to people. Don't make up lies to people when you've ever really. Um, but this is silly. Like this is crazy silly. Neither one of them have called or texted to apologize, and I'm honestly unsure if they will. Beth is more of a rug sweeping type, while I might confront issues head on type. Yeah, that can cause some clashes. I can see that. I will not be cutting my sister off for this, though. I love her and at the end of the day, I just want her to be happy and healthy. She's not going to be well, Chase isn't going to be happy, or he shouldn't be. I wouldn't be. I don't think any normal person would be happy to know that they were lied to from the beginning of their relationship, a 10-year relationship. A decade, she has lied to him for a decade. She should have never said that. That's a hard lie to, like, say, "Oh, by the way, I lied to you," at any point in the relation 2 months in, it would be like, "Nope, you're gone." I do hope this whole issue would cause her to rethink some of her life choices and maybe she can get some therapy. I think we could all use therapy, to be honest. She needs some intense therapy, though. What she's doing, and it sounds like she's had issues in the past, she needs some intense therapy. That's where we are now. Mom did not offer any information about how Beth and Chase are doing, and I did not ask. It's not my business. I've not heard from Joe, but Amy and I have been texting all morning, and she's being my best good friend right now and providing a lot of support. Aw, good for Amy. Good Amy. Hopefully, we can all move forward and grow together. Thanks for the support and you have all sent my way. This is a really nice person. She doesn't want to throw her sister under the bus. She wants a relationship with her still. She still loves her. She didn't mean to do this. This was Beth's own doing. Beth is responsible for her um, for her own actions. I just heard from my daughter, by the way. She just texted me and said that they're on their way home. So she's not dead. She's not wandering around the wilderness somewhere. She's probably in a place where her phone just wasn't like working. I love her. I love my boys too. Top comments. Commenter one. I'm glad your mother apologized, but your sister really owes you and the entire family an apology. And Chase. And Chase. This was really selfish, weird thing to do. She also owes Chase and his family an apology. Yes. Okay, good. That's in there. I hope she gets some help for this. Good luck. I told you I don't read these ahead of time. Commenter number two. Your sister could probably benefit from therapy. Oh, you think? I will never understand why people think it's a good idea to lie about something so easily disproven. I don't lie about anything and you won't have situations blow up like this. Exactly. I hope she comes to her senses and apologizes to you. Commenter three. I think your family needs to do a sit down with your sister because this isn't normal behavior at all. She lied for 10 years about a dead brother. Y'all need to call this behavior out since she's way too old to be acting like this. And doing nothing is showing her that you guys will accept similar or the same type of behavior in the future. Yeah. Yeah. She needs to suffer the consequences of her actions. I hope you didn't hear my stomach just growl. My stomach just growled like really loud. I think a hangry. Commenter number 4. Well, this is why she continues to do this nonsense at her big ass age. No one holds her accountable. You can move forward and grow together if people don't take accountability. Your entire family enables her in the worst way. Final update 5 months later, September 21st. Just a few weeks, couple weeks ago. Few weeks ago. This has a trigger warning of death of a loved one, grief, depression, and divorce. So I think things are not going well. That's horrible. Well, a lot have happened in the past few months. I read all your comments multiple times. I heard you. I faced some very hard truths about my family and our dynamics, and but mostly I grieved. About a month after I made my post, my dad passed away. Aw. It was very unexpected, massive stroke. I'm like tearing up right now. The worst part was my mom was out of town, so my dad died alone. My son talked to him that same day, and they made plans for the next week, and then my dad was gone. I'm sorry. I should be sorry to be emotional and empathetic. You shouldn't be sorry to be emotional and empathetic. It's okay. Oh, that's heartbreaking. It's been a very hard few months. I started therapy mostly to deal with navigating life without my dad, but my therapist made a lot of good points about our family dynamic. Mostly that I was parentified and a people pleaser. Yeah, yeah. The fact that she thinks her sisters are her kids, basically. She even mentioned that in the thing. That keeping peace comes with a price, and that price was my need to be put on the back burner. As a result, I kept people at arm's length because of this, and I'll be damned if she was right. She did mention that she was very closed off emotionally, except to her husband and kids. So, yeah, that makes sense. Her therapist is got her. So let's rewind a little. During the week or so after my dad died, my mom was lost. They'd been married for over 40 years, so no surprise there. And as the eldest sibling, I stepped up big time. Joe and I already knew a little about our parents' end of life wishes, and we chose to go forward with cremation. My mom agreed with this as it's her wish as well, as did Amy. Guess who didn't? You guessed it, Beth. You'd be right. She had a complete meltdown, wailing over how she couldn't stand the thought and will not allow it, blah, blah, blah. It's not up to you, Beth. Jeez. What is Beth's issues? She's not even a middle child. This is probably the first instance of me shutting her ass down. I told her no in uncertain terms that this wasn't her choice, it was our father's preference, and it was happening regardless. Next, she was wandering through the house trying to pick out shit she wanted before mom had even given us her blessing. Your mom still lives there, that's still her stuff. If she wants to give you something, she will, or you can ask, but you don't just go wandering through the house trying to get stuff. That's insanity. When she started, mom asked her to please stop, let her sort some stuff first, and then she'll give us a yes or no. Then Beth asked what she needed to sort out. Mom mentioned Dad's watch collection. There was one specifically for my son, and when Beth inquired us which one, Mom refused to answer. Beth insisted it wasn't fair. She should have first pick, blah, blah, blah. No, Beth. No. Mom and Joe apparently shut that shit down with a quickness. I wasn't there, but my son is now wearing his first luxury watch my dad ever bought. He is so proud. Don't worry though, all the grands have something special. Good. And like he's the only and first grandkid, only grandson, and his grandpa wanted him to have that watch, and Beth doesn't have a say in it. Next, she got absolutely plastered at his end of life ceremony, went around wailing, making literally the whole thing about her grief, how her wishes weren't respected, and what before I could snap, and believe me, I was this close. Chase dragged her ass out of the venue, and I'm not sure what happened, but when they got home, the police were called. Beth was arrested, and my niece ended up with my mom for the night. My brother in law did have some bruises to back him up. Despite Beth calling us, no one bailed her ass out. We're just done with it. Beth has major issues. Oh my goodness, this woman. If you act like this, please recognize that you act like this and get help before you blow up your family like this. She did get released on her own recognizance and ended up with some community service and a fine. Lucky her. Guy wouldn't have done that. Guy wouldn't have been that lucky. He'd been in jail for who knows how long. It's a couple months. Chase was more than willing to do therapy with her, but she started drinking even more and as a result became more aggressive to both him and the kids. There was another situation, and long story short, Chase is divorcing her and petitioning for full custody. She has asked us to write letters on his behalf, and I believe all of us are going to do so. I don't know what's going on with my sister, but she is in a downward spiral, and it's so sad to see. She refuses to speak to anyone, and I am just done trying. I've already decided to cut her off after the BS at my dad's end of life ceremony, but this solidified it. I won't be updating again and wash my hands of all of this. That's fine. You can do that. And she's probably in a state like she already said that she's kind of emotionally closed off to people. So she's in a state where she can compartmentalize that and get it done. I hope my sister gets help, but it takes a lot of work. There goes my stomach again. Oh my goodness. And she's never been one to put in the work. I'm putting myself first for once and concentrating on my children and my husband and myself. Good for you. Good for you. Thanks for listening to me vent. Y'all are almost as good as therapy. Nefarious anglerfish said, I can't believe that person who lied about having a dead twin turned out to be not particularly stable. This is why I come to Reddit. The answer to that is I know, right? Shocking. Like, oh my goodness. In a way, I feel sorry for Beth, but she's making her own bed and she needs to do something about herself. So you are the only person who can do something about yourself, either through your own doing or therapy. um, but some people do have to reach rock bottom before they see what they've done to themselves. It's pretty sad. These are just in random order, the way they showed up on my feed. So on my email. So it's another Boru. Please help my son understand. Originally posted in Photoshop request. That's weird. Okay, this is a bit of a strange one. Our son is autistic. At the above Dumbo In the above Dumbo comforter is a picture of the teddy bear of the teddy he has had since before he was born. Not exactly, but one from the internet. Yesterday or last night, we discovered Dumbo has gone missing. Oh no. Oh, that's bad. Kid is autistic and missing his comfort item. After a terrible night turning the house upside down, we have not been able to find him anywhere. Thankfully, eBay sellers have always have the most obscure stuff, and we got one on the way. Unfortunately, it doesn't arrive till Thursday. I was hoping some of you could Photoshop Dumbo using this picture or others of the same type, Gray Star's Dumbo Primark, of him on holiday in various places. I'm hoping I can get my son to think Dumbo has gone on holiday. Then when he turns up Thursday, we can say, "Look, he's back," and all will be well. Oh, that's nice. Um, they do have a photo. I'm trying to. I think I can share this. So this is what Dumbo looks like. So this Dumbo has gone on an adventure. Let's see what the answers are. The Crane guy said, "Did it work? We're all invested now." OOP. Well, he knows he's on holiday, but he will just go to the beach and get him. But at least we have an answer now for where he's at till the replacement gets here. Svenka says, as an autistic person, I hope your kid accepts the replacement. When my parents did that, I got a replacement. I firmly rejected it because I knew. OOP. I'm hoping the one we bought is secondhand, slightly used, and we've shown him on holiday so we can wrangle it so he believes. Here's hoping. As a mom who has been there, get 3 and put them in regular rotation. That way they age and smell. It's the same. Kids are too smart for their own good. OOP, this is actually a genius idea. Thank you. um, If the OG turns up, get it, uh, fat takeout. You should start working on a story for when the original turns up after the new ones arrive. Something similar happened to my sister with her kids, and she got roped into years of upholding quick explanation she had to think of on the fly. If the OG turns up and is getting shoved, it's getting shoved in storage for the next time this happens. And here is Dumbo at the beach. He's just having the time of his life out there laying on the beach under the umbrella. It's so nice. It's so nice people would do that. See, oh, there's another one. Oh, he went ice skating. How cool. He went ice skating in the snowy mountains. Isn't that fun? Woo! That's beautiful. Those mountains they have in the background are beautiful. It's probably AI, but it's okay. But that's okay. OOP, I don't think it ever will ever come back. He seems to be having so much fun. Update September 24th, 2025, 3 days later. Update. Thank you everyone for the help. Dumbo has now returned from holiday. We got the new one delivered, and our son is actually chuffed. He's all nice and clean after his beach trip and ice skating escapades. Absolutely massive help to everyone who participated with the Photoshop and the tips and tricks for not losing him again. Thank you so much. Update 2. Oh, they found the original. Yay! Trapped in the sleeve of my wife's dressing gown. She hasn't worn it this week as the weather warmed up. Now she has been safely stored out of reach for the next time we have an incident. Oh, oh, that's a great heartwarming update. I like that one. That was good after that last one when I cried. I don't cry easily, folks. I really don't, but that hit my heart hard. And now I'm crying because I'm happy. It's a roller coaster over here. Good thing I like roller coasters. I don't like heights, but I like roller coasters. Yes, I'm weird. Here we have one from Petty Revenge, which we already know we like these. It's entitled "I was written up for abandoning post." To clarify my title, I am not in the military. It takes place when I was 20, working summer jobs while living with my parents to pay for college, which any 20-year-old should probably be doing unless they have other plans. Still coughing up that third lung. About a week after I was hired, sometime after lunch. Oh, I knew immediately that the place was mismanaged, mostly cued in by manager. I totally messed that up. I'm starting all over. To clarify my title, I was not in the military. This takes place when I was 20, working summer jobs while living with my parents to pay for college. I was already working full time as a waiter at a very fun restaurant that I really enjoyed, but I wanted to make a little extra money. So I got a job as a host at another restaurant. Let's call it Sapphire Wednesdays. Blue Wednesday? I don't know. Somebody should take that name. It's a good one. I knew immediately that the place was mismanaged, mostly cued in by the manager having a beer at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday during my interview. Oh my. But my responsibilities as a host were very easy: seat customers, inform servers, sweep the floor near the front. I'd already been working in restaurants since I was 16, so my training was over in about an hour. Yeah, they already knew what they were doing. About a week after I was hired, sometime after lunch before dinner rush, there was a car accident in front of the store. The car was sideswiped by a semi and run into a telephone pole on a busy suburban road. I told the server to call 911 and sprinted out across the parking lot to check on the car. Thankfully, the woman in the car was shaken but fine. The truck driver was out of his cone and already on 911. Another driver stopped as well. Very nice moment of humanity from folks on their way home from work. I decided everything was being handled as best as possible, so I went back into the restaurant. I mean, she did the right thing because there's no guarantee that anybody else was going to stop or that the truck driver, I'm still tearing up, or that the truck driver was okay. I mean, Not even physically. I mean, even mentally, he could have been in shock or something. So it was a good that she went out. That was the right thing to do. I walked back in to find the manager standing at the empty host stand in front of a nearly empty dining room asking, "Where did you go?" There was an accident. I went outside to make sure everyone was okay. Manager asked, "Why did you feel to need to do that?" "I don't know, jackass. Become a human?" After a brief back and forth, he says he has to write me up for abandoning post. I was too confused and angry to argue, so I told him that was fine. Then he reminded me that one more write up within my first months means I'll be fired. Okay, fire me. I don't care. Like at some point, you just say, I don't care. If you want to fire me over that, fire me over that. I will tell everybody why you fired me. I went home and explained this all to my dad, who was laughing through his anger and suggested I quit and just focus on the other job. I decided he was right, but hatched a plan. Rather than quit, I showed up an hour late to my next shift that the same manager worked. This happened to be a Friday during dinner, and I was the only host scheduled. The manager was furious. He had to get out of the office and do actual work. So when I walked in, he saw me and immediately began berating me. I asked if I was going to get written up for this, to which he replied in front of a crowd of customers, I might add, "You bet your ass you're getting written up." "Oh no, I guess I'm fired then. See ya." I went home and drank whiskey and smoked a cigar with my dad on the back porch to celebrate. Oh, technological spelled with a 3 instead of an E. I got a write up for breaking my arm at work. Can't go into much detail because it's still an ongoing thing, but yeah. Wow. That is a lawsuit. Yeah, the next one sounds like they want a workers' compensation lawsuit. Yep. Oh, and they're in a union. Oh, you don't mess with the union. You don't mess with the union. Yeah. Inky K lady says, "I'm sorry, but at least you have a union behind you. It took a lawyer to get things moving again after 6 months of shenanigan, and it still lasted years. Good luck fighting that out." Oh, somebody else asked if they filed a formal grievance, and they said not yet. So it must have just happened. I hope they're okay. Coworker injured during a blizzard. 9 months of PT times two work and light duty, and then they finally got surgery for the work injury. The day they returned from surgery to begin light duty work, no one no told no longer insurable to work there because you broke your arm. Oh no, injured. Don't say what the injured was. Didn't like the HR lady anyway, so not too upset. Lost contact with them after. Yeah, I don't think they can do that. This might have happened a long time ago though, because no longer insurable doesn't exist thanks to the Obamacare ACA. Firefox says I broke my wrist at work, finished the shift, and went to the doctor. Ended up needing surgery and got laid off the day I got back. It was 3 days after surgery, so I was still sore. I said, "See ya." 1 year later, the entire division was shut down. Oh, I got lucky. Got a head start on finding another job. All right. We have a lot to go. I have a lot of content for you today and all the days this week. This is from Malicious Compliance entitled, "My jacket isn't corporate approved, neither are any of the other ones here." Uh, he's got a edit already at the top. It says, "Wow, I didn't expect this to blow up. Me and my partner, thank you for the updates. I woke him up this morning to tell him his story got 1,500 at the time upvotes, and he was confused and then laughed after I explained it. This is my boyfriend's story, not mine, full disclosure, but he gave me permission to put it up. He's just too lazy to and doesn't have Reddit." We loves our Reddits. He framed the story by proudly telling me his boss learned who not to be petty with. While working in the back of the store, my partner was wearing his personal sweater. He was between a break room and a freezer and couldn't be seen by any customers. His manager, who had just gotten there, immediately got on his case. He tried to explain reasonably he didn't have it on for maybe 15 minutes max and removed it before going back out onto the floor. The manager refused and begins pestering him and telling him he needs to remove it immediately under the reasoning it wasn't corporate approved. It's kind of weird. Cue malicious compliance. The jacket they use for their coolers, not corporate approved. The gloves they use in the same coolers, not corporate approved. The communication systems they use to talk amongst themselves in the store, not corporate approved. An hour or so later, my partner is going on about his janitorial and stocking duties, having to work at the cooler to restock every 5 to 10 minutes. He'd come out of the freezer shivering and trying to warm up. After about 20 minutes of this, the same manager wandered over them critically. What are you doing? Stocking the freezer, but it's pretty cold in there. It wouldn't be. Well, why don't you grab a jacket and some gloves? Oh, because if you actually read our employee book surrounding our uniform, these technically aren't corporate approved either. Manager grumbled and wandered off, only to come find him after an hour and a half. I've been trying to reach you over the communication systems for the last 20 minutes. Why aren't you responding? Oh, that's because they're not actually corporate approved, unfortunately. You're really going to be this petty? I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just following corporate standards. It went on like this for his entire 7 hour shift. At the end of his shift, the manager wandered up to him with an exasperated look. I get it. Okay. I need to know how to pick my battles. You absolutely do. If I didn't know him personally, I probably wouldn't have believed that he actually said that, but he almost certainly does. And he cared very little for what anyone thinks. So, and bubbly confidence. Top comment is, you are really going to be this petty? Sir, you are the one who is starting a petty war. I'm just the one who is going to end it. Oh, that's interesting. That's a good one. Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna pick on somebody for wearing a jacket where no one can see them, what do you expect? What do you expect your folks to do? This one's very short, which we need some short ones after those long ballroom ones, and I think it probably have another ballroom one or two in here. This is from I Don't Work Here Lady, entitled "Man Grabbed My Arm Because I Wasn't Stocking the Shelves Fast Enough." I was in the cereal aisle wearing jeans and a band hoodie, just trying to decide between Cheerios and Raisin Bran. A man came up behind me and grabbed an elbow and said, "Excuse me, but are you going to stand there all day or are you going to get some more Fruit Loops from the back?" I yanked my arm away from him and told him, "I don't work here." He just rolled his eyes and said, "Whatever, you're all useless," and walked away. I think I would have said, "I'm sorry, I'm not allowed in the back. I'm a customer. You can go get your own Fruit Loops, your Fruit Loop." Um, top comment from Dripping Snarkasm. Oh, I like that. Dripping Snarkasm. "Excuse me, but are you going to stand there all day and get some more Fruit Loops from the back?" "Nah, you're enough. Get back on the shelf." I love it. Oh, I love it so much. It's so funny. He's the one crazy Fruit Loop. Oh, that's so funny. This is why I have Reddit. That stuff right there cracks me up. Hopefully, I make you laugh at least once a day. Here's another one from I Don't Work Here Lazy. Oh, well, I mean, most of these people are lazy, so I guess that fits. I Don't Work Here Lady, entitled "Hello Amazon, I'm calling the police on one of your drivers." That's not funny. That's not funny because that happens to people. I have a story. Don't want to tell you. This happened a while ago when I owned my own fulfillment company. I had just hired a marketer to do Google ads. Our bread and butter was Amazon sellers that shipped their product from manufacturers, and we would bundle label to be shipped to Amazon warehouses. We were targeting Amazon keywords, which is how this lady got our Google ad. "Hello, this fulfillment company. What can I do for you? Is this Amazon?" Me. "No, but we ship to Amazon." Lady. "Your driver just ran into my mailbox. I want compensation." Me. "We are not Amazon." Lady. "You said you were Amazon." Me. "I said we ship to Amazon. Do you think Amazon has a local area code with it answers on the second ring?" Lady. I'm calling the police and you're going to pay for this. Me. I think calling the police is a great idea. Have a nice day. After that, I told my marketing guy to change things up. LOL. Fit discount is the top comment. It says, I've said it before and I'll say it countless times before my time comes. Some people are just denser than Christmas fruitcake. It's funny. Teal Temptress said, I had a lady scream at me for an hour as a Spectrum cable rep. I finally found out she was screaming about her AT&T bill after I asked her to read the company name above the account number. I couldn't pull up for the umpteenth time. This similar things. Ooh, that like sorry about that. I just hit my thing and it made the camera shake. It's an earthquake. Just kidding. It's not. um I worked at a place, we'll call it, Sherwood Forest. I worked at Sherwood Forest and Sherwood Forest was a members only resort. Um, so Sherwood Forest was all one word, Sherwood Forest Resort and Banquet Center. So I had this lady, this happened at least twice, 2 different years. So they would call up and say, I need to pay my dues because they had dues due every year. Um, and I'm looked, and this was it. So our dues were due in January. January 1st, your dues were due. You had a month to pay them, and then in February you would get upcharge, a charge for a late fee, which was like 10%. This lady would call in June every year saying she needs to call to pay her dues. And I would look up her account and tell her, I'm sorry, your dues seem to already be paid, ma'am. And she says, "No, no, this says I just got a notice in the mail that my dues are due." Like, you already paid them. You paid them in January like a good person. Oh, and you'd get a discount if you paid in November or December. So maybe she paid in November and actually got 5% discount on her dues. It's like, but her dues were paid. Her dues were paid. She paid them on time. She was a good soldier, paid her dues. She's like, I just got a notice that I need to pay my dues. Like, no, somehow, and I don't know how because I research all kinds of stuff. I figured out. Oh no, I think I had her send me. I'm like, send me a copy. Take a picture of it and send me a copy of what you're looking at. And it was Sherwood Forest, 2 words. She lived in a community called Sherwood Forest Condominiums Trailer Park or whatever it was. I don't remember. And she was getting it confused with Sherwood Forest. It's like, ma'am, you need to pay your co-op fees, not your dues. And she did this twice, at least twice that I know of. She did this. She may still be doing it. I don't know, but it was at least twice that I was there, answered the call, and figured out for her. The second time, obviously, I'm like, "Ma'am, are you the one that lives in Sherwood Forest condominiums?" She's like, "Yes." I'm like, "Ma'am, that's your bill for your condo fees." Oh, that poor lady. I felt so bad. A lot of the people that were there were elderly and they're a hoot sometimes. They get confused. They get confused. I'm probably headed that way really fast myself. Um some of them were more confused than others. Some of them were scary. Um one lady had a spouse that would wander around and get lost. He ended up at the office a lot of times. This is from our confession, which I might add to our list. I think I have added it for next month. I found a stash of letters at my father's, and now I don't know if I should tell my mother. I wonder why they were. Well, never mind. Let's just read it. It's not very long. Recently, my brother and I were helping my parents renovate the garage. I was clearing out some old boxes and stumbled upon a metal box under some tools. Inside were letters and a few photographs. I opened one letter and realized it was addressed to my father from some woman. It contained phrases like, "It's a shame we can't be together," and "I'm I'm glad I can see you at least once a month." Ew. At first, I thought it was an old story from before they got married, but in the photographs, he looks almost the same as he does now. The letters were dated just a few years ago. I don't know if it's still going on or if it's over, but now every time I see my parents together, I'm seething inside. My mother adores him and always protecting or supporting him, and I'm afraid that if I tell him, it'll destroy the family. But if I keep quiet, I can't carry this secret with me. I feel like a traitor even though I've done nothing. I just know too much now. Hmm. Yeah, that's a difficult one. That's a difficult one because you're mad at your dad and you're feel bad for your mom. I don't know. I think he should probably confront his father. Um, yeah, that's sad. I don't even know what I'd do. I don't even know. Shoddy reply, his top commenter said, I found some letters from for my mom from the man she was having an affair with when I was 16. I confronted her about it and she made me promise not to tell my dad as it was over and she was trying to make things work. 18 months later, she did the same thing again and left my dad for her affair partner. She's still with her AP, my stepdad, 30 years later. So for her, it was a good thing. For my dad, it was devastating, and I tortured myself for years that I could have helped him solve problems or at least made him more prepared for what was to come. Going back and finding the same thing again, I would have 100% told my dad. It's not fair that you carry this burden. It's their relationship to work on. I think I would confront the mom first before I would tell the dad. Confront the mom and say, you need to confess to your spouse or I'm going to. And I think that's how you have to handle that. You have to put it in their ballpark first and give them a chance to come clean. Otherwise, you look like the bad guy. That's just heartbreaking. This is exactly why I don't think OP should say something to his dad. The dad will just turn it around on him and possibly get rid of the evidence. No, you keep the evidence. You keep the evidence yourself and say, here's one. Go tell mom. Yeah. Make copies. Yeah. 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 You don't give them the evidence back. That's crazy. Here's another Boru entitled My 40 Male Wife, 36 Female, was seen holding hands with another man, and it contains new updates. Well, that's a red flag. I wish I had my red flag. Yeah, trigger warnings for infidelity, blah, 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 kinds of stuff. Original post was December 10th, 2023. So this is a while ago, almost 2 years ago. My wife, 36 female, and I, 40 male, have been together for 5 years and got married last year. We definitely have ups and downs, but we're generally happy. Well, that's good. On Friday, she went out with people from her work for Christmas drinks and arrived home around midnight, absolutely hammered. She just said she had a good time and went straight to bed. Yesterday, I got a message on Instagram from an anonymous account claiming to be one of her colleagues, saying she'd been flirting all night with one of the guys in the office, 44 male, and they left together about 9 to walk to the train station. How did she get home? Midnight. So 3 hours. Was it a 3 hour train ride? Do you think? Do you think it was a 3 hour train ride for a work party? The colleague had a couple more drinks and then went to the station herself and said she saw my wife walking hand in hand with the guy through the station about 10:45. They did not see her. Last night I showed her the message and asked for an explanation. She claims she was so drunk she doesn't remember anything that happened after 8 p.m. Well, that's a red flag too, because you should not get blackout drunk, especially not by 8 p.m. Holy cow. Yeah, don't get blackout drunk. Not good for you. Don't do that. But that does not excuse your behavior because you know what you're doing even when you're blackout drunk. You just don't remember it afterwards. According to my brother-in-law who has been blackout drunk. I asked if she went somewhere with the guy after they left the group. She checked the location history on her phone, which confirmed that they had gone to a bar near the station for about an hour. They arrived at the station about 10:40. She gave me her phone and insisted I check it, and there were no suspicious messages or anything. As far as I could tell, she doesn't have the guy's number in their phone, and they're not following each other on Instagram or friends on Facebook or other places. Oh, I asked if she was flirting with him, and she admitted she was talking mostly to them all night, but that's just because he's the only person in her office who has anything in common with, and they're just friends, and it wasn't flirting. She mentioned this guy to me before and said how much they have in common. I asked if they were holding hands. She says she doesn't remember but doesn't think so. She claims to know who sent me the message and says the woman in the office who hates her, though she doesn't know why. Today she's been in a terrible mood and we've not really spoken. So that's where we are. I'm not sure what to do. Is this a big red flag as it seems to be? I think it is. But it could also be that this woman just wants to cause problems. I mean, that is a possibility, but it is a red flag. Being blackout drunk is a huge red flag for anyone. Update December 19th, 2023, 9 days later. A few people have requested an update to my last post, and it has a lot of happened this week, so here it is. I'll post any further updates on my profile. TLDR is my wife Sam got drunk on a work night and was seen holding hands with a guy from her office. Sam came home from work on Monday and casually said she'd spoken to the guy Tom, and he confirmed that they hadn't held hands; they'd just been walking arm in arm because she was drunk and wearing heels. I mean, that's fair. I asked her why her colleague Helen. So we got Sam, Tom, and Helen. I asked her why her colleague Helen would make an Instagram account, track me down, and message me saying they held hands if it wasn't true. She said Helen is basically in love with Tom and made a pass at him after his divorce, but he rejected her. I asked why Helen would feel threatened by her, and she said because her and Tom are friends, and Helen is crazy jealous, is a crazy jealous bitch, as evidenced by the Instagram message. I mean, that could be true. That could be true. Blackout drunk, red flag. I asked why went for a drink with just her and Tom, and she said that according to Tom, they walked past this bar with an amazing live band playing, so they stopped for a drink. Her only regret was doing too many shots too early and getting shit faced. The next day, she went shopping after work and came home with a new dress. I asked her what the occasion was, and she said for her work Christmas party. Last week's was just drinks from people in her office. The company Christmas party is on Friday. Apparently, she'd mentioned this. That's kind of fishy. Is OP invited to the Christmas party? You should go. Spouses should be invited to the Christmas party. Just saying. I hardly slept that night, and the next day I decided to reply to the Instagram message to get some more information. I said, "Do you think anything's going on with them?" Helen, I assume, quickly replied with a long message saying they flirt at work and everyone's noticed. Apparently, Sam was going to be let go, but Tom put in a good word for her and she kept her job. Tom protects her in the office and will constantly defend her. She also said that Sam bitches about me the whole office, and it's clear we don't have a happy marriage. I was asked if she was going to the Christmas party, and she said she was. She said she'd update me if anything happened. Sam finished work early Friday, so she had time to get ready. She looked amazing, and I really didn't want her to go, but I felt like I couldn't say anything. Why aren't you going with her? I got an Instagram message about midnight saying Tam and Tom hadn't interacted at the party, but people from the office had decided to leave to go to a different bar. They all just left at 11 and were at the new bar by 10 past. Tom and Sam and Tom turned up just before midnight. Sam arrived home about 2 a.m., not quite as drunk as last time, and went straight to sleep, and I pretended to be fast asleep. I looked at the location history on her phone. After leaving the venue, she'd taken a 3-mile detour to a residential street and stayed an hour and then gone to the bar. That's a red flag. I sent to Helen. I sent the address to Helen. She didn't reply until the next morning when she said it was Tom's house. When Sam woke up, I just asked her straight out if she cheated on me with Sam last night. She angrily denied it. I told her I knew she'd been at Sam's house. She accused me of spying on her. Well, yeah, you're giving him reasons to spy. If you don't have reason to spy, you shouldn't spy. But he has reasons to spy. Calling me controlling, she said she was going to stay with her sister. I demanded an explanation. She said she went to his house so they could smoke a joint before heading to the bar. Then she stormed out. Why couldn't you go to somebody else's house? She wouldn't reply to my messages or answer my calls that Sunday. I called her sister, who said she hadn't seen her, but she texted me later and said that she'd spoken to Sam and she was okay. Guess where Sam is? Sam's at Tom's house. Betcha. Sam came home yesterday. I asked where she'd been, and she said she couldn't do this anymore and wants a divorce. She went to start packing clothes while I tried to talk to her. I asked if she was leaving me for Tom. She once again denied anything inappropriate happened between them, but said my jealousy was the final straw. He's not being jealous. That's not jealousy. It's not jealousy if you're acting a certain way. It's clear I don't trust her for reasons, and I'm controlling. No. I take her for granted. Well, that's a new one. She's deeply unhappy and has been for a while, so she's having an affair. She's she's gone. It looks like I'll be spending my first Christmas alone. I have no idea if she was telling the truth of it or if it was an affair. Weirdly, I'm not feeling too bad today, so maybe this is for the best. A lot of times, people who are unhappy with their marriage will have an affair before they leave the marriage. I don't know why. If you're that unhappy, just end the marriage. You shouldn't be in it. And then pursue another relationship. Final update January 8th, 2024, 20 days after the last update. Once she was gone, Sam blocked me on all her social media and refused to return my message or answer my calls. I mean, that's kind of normal. I ended up traveling to the other side of the country to spend Christmas with my parents. On Christmas Eve, Sam came home and took more of her stuff. I watched her on our security cameras. I tried phoning her, but she ignored my calls. Christmas wasn't great. My parents were both shocked and in denial about what happened. They had no idea we were having issues and insisted Sam would come to her senses and come home. Should she? Should she come home? Do you want to live like this? Eventually, I said she'd met someone else, and I returned home on the 27th. I've been getting sporadic updates from Sam's sister telling me she's all right, but without any details. Before all this happened, we made plans to spend New Year's Eve at Sam's favorite bar in the city. I went on my own, but she did not show up. On Tuesday night, I received an Instagram message from Helen saying that Sam and Tom arrived at work together in Tom's car. I didn't bother replying. Of course they did. I told you that's where she went. On Wednesday night, she sent another message saying Sam was poisoning the office against her and that Tom was pushing upper management to transfer her to another office or get rid of her. She begged me to do something. I texted Sam and said we need to talk, but she didn't reply. So the next day I called her work switchboard, gave a fake name, and got put through. That's kind of not cool. I could tell she wasn't happy to hear my voice, but she agreed to meet up after work at a local pub to talk. These people drink too much. I got there early. She arrived 25 minutes late. She apologized for ignoring my calls and said she still cares about me. Sure, she does. And wants to end on good terms. No, she doesn't. And just tell me the truth. If she wanted to end good terms, she would have ended this before starting an affair with Tom. And I guarantee you she's having an affair with Tom. She promised that she wasn't having an affair with Tom and they were just friends. She admitted that they talk a lot in the office, but insisted it wasn't an emotional affair. She understands why I was suspicious after the Instagram message, but said I should have accepted her denial and trusted her. No. She has a lot of male friends, but I feel like she couldn't hang out with them because I'd get jealous. There's a difference between hanging out with a guy and going and getting drunk with him and going to his house and all that kind of stuff. I pointed out I never told her not to hang out with anyone, but she said I'd be in a mood whenever she'd hang out with a guy friend. Maybe he's just I mean, did he act differently when it was a girlfriend? She feels like we only got married to try and fix a relationship that was already broken. Our conversations have devolved into small talk and we've drifted apart. I said that I had heard she and Tom arrived to work together. Sam said she went to Tom's after I accused her of cheating and knew it was over between us. They spent the weekend together and agreed they make a better couple than we did. So predictable. She needed to know that nothing happened between them until after she told me she wanted a divorce, and now they were together. And she wanted me to hear it from her before I saw it on social media. Tom was waiting outside for her in the car. There is no way that happened like that. All I could do was stand up and walk out. Me saying texted. Sam texted me saying she knew I was upset, but not to do anything stupid. I blocked her number. I'm not gonna lie, that was a rough night. The next day I was just numb and didn't really do anything. Over the weekend, I dug out a marriage certificate so I can start divorce proceedings. I have no idea what to say to Helen, so I haven't replied. I think the plan is now to try and find a new job closer to my hometown. I moved across the country to live with Sam, and I never really felt settled here. I also don't want to run into her and Tom around town. Luckily, we rent. You rent, you don't have kids. That's another good thing. This will probably be my last update unless something miraculous happens. Thanks for reading. And there's new update. There's more updates. There's more, folks. There is more. uh, New update. What are the potential consequences of IVF fraud? May 7th, 2024, 4 months after the last update. My soon to be ex wife is pregnant and has suggested to her friend that it's mine. The only way this is possible is if she's had our final frozen embryo implanted without my permission. If that's what she's done, then either the IVF clinic haven't asked for my sign off, or she somehow convinced him that I granted permission. When I left our shared house in January, I couldn't find my passport, so likely she has it. Hmm. I'm waiting for a call back from the clinic, but I'm freaking out and I want to get an idea of the potential consequences. Could she get sent to prison? What will happen to the clinic? What happens when the baby arrives, considering the circumstances? We're in England, thanks. I don't know the rules around that in England. Edit. I finally spoken to the clinic manager, and it seems this is all down to my own stupidity. When our last embryo didn't take, we all signed the paperwork a few weeks later to do the final transfer. My wife then developed some hormonal issues, so we paused the process until she could get it sorted out. Then, for various reasons, we decided not to proceed with the transfer clinic, which she told the clinic. Apparently, they just paused the process for up to 3 years in order to protect our deposit, and the consent forms remained valid. My wife had the transfer 6 weeks ago. Wow. Wow. Poor guy. Oh my gosh. I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about that. That's crazy. Why would she do that? She divorced that guy. She doesn't even love him anymore. Oh, geez. Oh, no, don't do this. Sorry. Next update. I, 41 male. I'm about to move back in with my pregnant ex wife, 37 female. How can we make this work? You can't. You can't trust her. September 24, 2024, over 4 months after the last update. So now she got big. My ex-wife is pregnant with our first child due Christmas Eve. There's more detail in my profile, but essentially we broke up last Christmas. I moved back with my parents 200 miles away. She started a relationship with a coworker, which caused so much drama at her work that in February she reached a mutual agreement that she would immediately resign in exchange for 6 months' salary. The relationship ended. She used the settlement money to restart IVF process that we paused years ago. When I found out she was pregnant, I contacted the IVF clinic, who explained that the contracts we signed from the start of the process were still valid and they hadn't done anything wrong. No, but she did. I disagreed, and thanks to the advice and recommendations of Our Legal Advice UK, I hired solicitors specializing in clinical negligence and contract law. They managed to negotiate a settlement with the clinic in lieu of legal action, and my ex and I ended up with about 80K after fees. Why would your ex get any of that? Why is she's part of the problem. Plus, the clinic updated their processes to require consent be reconfirmed by both parties before embryo transfer takes place. Well, that's good. For the past 4 months, I've been in regular contact with my ex, discussing settlement negotiations and traveling down south for scans. When I asked why she did it, she just said that she knew this was her last chance to have a baby, and that when she came into some money, she knew she took it as a sign she should go ahead with the embryo transfer before I remembered to withdraw consent. She's since been diagnosed with bipolar disorder, which in her mind has absolved her of any responsibility for her actions. Dude, why? Why are you doing this? She's desperate for us to get back together and raise our son as a family. I'm not interested in being a couple, but I obviously don't want to be 200 miles away from my son. I've got a new job, so I really don't want to move back down to Hampshire. I almost said New Hampshire. We're not in the States. It's the original Hampshire. But I but she was willing to move up to Yorkshire as long as we lived together. So we agreed to spend the settlement money on a house in my hometown. Okay. I picked up the keys last weekend and been furnishing, decorating, and preparing for us to move in next week. My ex has no friends or family around here and no job. Us living together is going to be super awkward, but once the baby comes, I'm hoping we can get into a co parenting routine. The house has 3 bedrooms, so we'll each have one and one for our son. We've agreed not to see other people for at least 3 years. Her request. Her request? She got a lot of nerve. Miss, I'm moving in with Tom. I don't see us rekindling a romantic relationship, but in an ideal world, we'll live together for a few years and then sell the whole house. By then, she'll be settled here and we can live close to each other and co parent our son. I hope I'm not being unbelievably naive and making a huge mistake. You are. I believe that you are. My parents are excited to be grandparents, but they're not keen on the idea of us living together. Hold on a second. My daughter just texted me. Yes. Thank you for your patience. Okay. New update entitled, oh, it's the same title as the last one. December 19th, 2024, 3 months after the last update. To say my last post got a negative response would be an understatement, as it should have. It was a strange feeling reading all the replies saying what what a mistake I was making after putting so much thought and spending lots of time and effort to get to where I was. Someone sent me a TikTok of my previous posts. Hearing the worst time of my life being read out loud really affected me and brought out a lot of feelings of guilt and shame. It made me realize that I hadn't even begun to process what happened last Christmas or why. I contacted a therapist the next day. Good. Should have done that first place. Oh, that was not what I thought it was. Um, Sam moved in the day before my first appointment. It was awkward, but she was busy organizing her new room, so I left her to it. That night, we ordered pizza, watched a movie. It was nice. I met the therapist the next day, explained the situation. He thought the whole thing was a bad idea, but as we were living together, he agreed to help us navigate as smoothly as possible. He thought couples therapy would be the best option. Hmm, yeah, I mean, given what it is, Sam and I have been seeing him every week and have gone through our entire relationship. After 4 miscarriages, the last two at 12 plus weeks. Oh, that's horrible. Absolutely wrecked Sam's mental health, and I started cooling on the idea of continuing to try for a child. Instead of talking to Sam, she so desperately wanted to be a mom that I thought it would break her. I just pulled away from her. Yeah, yeah, okay. We bear some responsibility, always. Of course, she noticed and blamed herself and began spiraling. Oh, that's heartbreaking. But one of them should have probably um, recommended the other go to counseling then. Each other, the same. Each other. Um, Couple this was undiagnosed bipolar, the hormone issues which resulted from the IBS. It was a recipe for disaster. Yeah, it sounds like it. Sam thought, possibly correct, that I wanted out of the relationship but was too cowardly to come out and say it. So I just checked out and waited for her to get sick of me. Oh, so the whole Tom situation was a straw that broke the camel's back, and she gave up fighting for her marriage and let me out gut free. So maybe she wasn't having the affair with Tom. I mean, I can be wrong. Maybe she wasn't. Maybe she really wasn't, but she did not handle it very well. She did not handle it very well. Especially getting blackout drunk, dude. Come on. In therapy, I've learned to accept my responsibility for the breakup of our marriage. That's good. I wasn't a good husband towards the end, and it's a miracle Stan stuck around as long as she did. The time apart made me realize how much I still love her. What is it? Absence makes the heart grow fonder. We've agreed to try and embrace what's happened and be thankful it brought us to where we are now. Hopefully, we both learn lessons that will make our relationship stronger. I know I have. So we're now back living as a couple. I canceled the divorce, which has taken ages as Sam refused to engage with it. So she didn't really want to divorce him. I'm glad he can get over the affair thing because she was definitely having an affair after, well, I mean, they were broken up. They were on a break. I guess it doesn't count. Our son was born December 11th. Oh man, 2 days too soon. 2 weeks later, earlier than expected. He's absolutely perfect. I'm holding him as I write this. Aw. I know a lot of people read my previous posts will be disappointed with how I've handled this, but at the end of the day, we've only got one chance of life, and honestly, I can't think of a better way to spend mine. Thanks for all of your advice over the past year. Merry Christmas. Don't like the title of this one. So, new update on May 7th this year, 2025. Can I take my son out of the country without his mother's express permission? Probably not. My wife gave birth to our son in December. She suffers from untreated bipolar disorder, and after Christmas, she developed severe PPD. That's postpartum depression. We agreed that she'd go stay with her mom for a week as she was spiraling and needed a break. She never came back, and we're no longer in direct contact. Oh, that's heartbreaking. Our last conversation was over a month ago, and it didn't go well. She apparently has no interest in being our son's life or even getting updates on him. As far as I know, she's still living with her mom 200 miles away. I've been offered a secondment. I don't know what a secondment is. I've been offered a secondment at, what does that mean? We're going to find out. We're going to find out what that means. A temporary role. Okay, so he's going for a temporary job. That happens sometimes. Excuse me. I've been offered a secondment at my company's Swedish office covering maternity leave for a year. I want to take it, but I don't want to tell my wife as she would likely throw a spanner in the works. I have my son's passport and original birth certificate. Can I just go without telling her? Well, it's been 5 months. Why don't you have full custody? No, you should go for full custody and then you can do basically what you want. Full, like full legal custody. Like she has not, probably not even visitation at this point because she doesn't want to be there. And she'd have to pay child support. We also own a house together, which I'd like to rent out while I'm away. If she turns up out of the blue and finds someone else living here, could she do anything? There's no mortgage, all the bills are in my name, and she's on the deeds. Are you guys not divorced? You need to be divorced and get full custody of your kid. I've been watching a lot of looking at legal stuff lately, and it's all like custody and divorce stuff. To be clear, if she ever decides to unblock me and wants to see our son, then of course we'd come back. I'm not looking to take him away from her forever, but I think this would be good for us. Oh, Starry Gecko says, I wish this kid nothing but luck, peace, and joy, because he's very obviously going to need it. Yep, yep. I hope he goes to Sweden too. Yeah, somebody else said, I really hope he goes to Sweden without her for the sake of the kid. Because 200 miles wasn't enough of space, so they clearly need at least an ocean between them. Somebody answered that, not just an ocean because to be frank, the North Sea is tiny, an ocean in several European countries. Yeah, I do think it would probably be good for him to go to Sweden and take the baby with him. Um, I don't think that she needs to be involved in the kid's life at this point. Maybe sometime in the future, but that's hard. Like I said, I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos on stuff like this. Um, yeah, it's wild. All your personal stuff out there on YouTube. They like literally do it from court. It's like court TV, like the old court TV, like the good court TV that they just it was all out there. But yeah, maybe she'll never want to be in this kid's life or not till they're 30. Personal preference. All right. If you have not already, please like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. I go live at least 4 times a week, usually about 10 in the morning. If you have a story of your own or one came across in the wild, you can email biddybrunchbunch@gmail.com and I might read it for our bunch. Put in the title submission so that I know that it's a submission to be read on on here. Did it just no? It's sunny outside. Why is it so dark in here all of a sudden? Um, okay. We have four more. We're 1:30, an hour 30 already. We're doing good. We're doing real good. Okay. This is from Traumatize Them Back, called Ex's emails to multiple women got forwarded. Oops. And it's also a petty revenge. It's flared as petty revenge. When I finally got into my ex's email because I suspected an inappropriate relationship with a coworker, I found not only that, but inappropriate emails with several more women, one of them who was married, all instigated by him. Ex- Sexually explicit flirting, in a few cases, making plans to meet up. Oh, and one of the girls was 18 while he was 38-year-old man. Where is my red flag? I'm long since over this idiot, but once the shock of betrayal wore off, and before I left, I forwarded the emails with one woman to the other ones, then deleted his sent message. That is for sure some pettiness right there. I'm sure each woman thought they were special in his world. After that, for some reason, all the women stopped replying to his emails. At some point, he got on that something may have happened and changed all his passwords. I have zero regrets, and I only wish I hadn't ignored what I now see as a glaring red flags about this person in the first place. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. Yes. Maya Angelou, by the way. If you have not read I Know Why the Cage Bird Sings, highly recommend. Um, and in yeah, that one doesn't make sense. I can't read that reader name. I don't know what it's supposed to mean. I did this with my ex, but copied his mom on all of them. Ooh, oh yeah. I found out one of my kids are having an affair. Wrath of mom. You don't want that. Okay, this one is entitled People. Or sorry, from Entitled People. This is from Entitled People subreddit, entitled "Not Just Your Workplace Supervisor." Hmm. Comments from another subforum's post recently dredged up my nightmarish memories of this situation. Years ago, I had a supervisor who, if she was on a diet, put all of her underlings on a diet along with her. No, you do not get, no, no. Mm-mm. I'd like to go make another cup of coffee mid morning, and Sandra would pass my office frowning at my sugar packets. Sugar? She'd say with this look on her face like she caught me trying to burn the building down. Sugar is not good for us, snarky sleep. That's the That's the Redditor's name. Neither is constantly behaving like you're the parent of adult employees, which is a large part of why I finally transferred to another department soon after. But if Sandra decided it was a naughty day, of course she'd eat whatever. And because she was in charge and you weren't, the deities help anyone who would dare to speak up. She sounds like a nightmare. She was the world's biggest micromanager as well as hypocrite. Yeah, some people be like that. If anyone dared to take a personal call or look as if they were glancing at anything personal for even the briefest moment, they'd be sure to hear about it. But one day, Sandra decided to design and print out invites for her mother's upcoming big number birthday bash. Office color printer, you know? Why can't you do that at home? And now, or you can do it at home if you have a color printer, or you can take it to like the UPS store or Staples. They will print it for you. Cost you some. Shouldn't be doing it at work. And yes, we've all done that. But if it's a big, I mean, if it's 5 things, yeah. But if you're printing out 200 invites, no. Absolutely not. And now and how do I know about it? Because Sandra's computer skills were almost non-existent, and she actually had the nerve to ask for help with her invites. I could literally I could literally write a book about this woman for and all the unhinged, nasty things she said and did. And in case you might think she was one of those unpleasant people who don't know how they are actually coming across, this was not the case. At one point, she actually said out loud, "If employees don't like me, that means I'm doing a good job as a supervisor." No, it do not. Sometime after I managed to escape from that department, I heard through the organization grapevine that Sandra had retired. I was surprised, as it was the custom to give everyone leaving, regardless of the circumstances or how unpopular they might have been, some sort of goodbye party or lunch, which would include an email announcing their departure sent to everyone. That's nice. That's a nice thing to do. I hadn't heard anything, so of course my first thought with that is simply missed hearing about it. But no, as I was able to confirm later, the few people in Sandra's department that she hadn't managed to send into early retirement or transfer had all agreed they were not going to put time and effort into planning any sort of event celebrating a woman who had put them down again and again and again. My initial thought was a moment of pity for Sandra. Because I am at heart a kind person, it must have been humiliating her leaving without a single word of well wishes from anyone in that and a department head at that. But then my immediate second thought was that she literally made this happen for herself. It was a huge example of FAFO. Well, that's sad, but of her own doing. I really hope that my ex boss gets a huge, she's retiring soon, hopefully. I hope she gets a huge party because she's been at that place that she's working at forever. She, for sure, we're forced. Forever. Forever she's been there. Since she was a kid, literally. She'd literally started before she was 18 years old. This is from malicious compliance. Supervisor says phones are all that matter. Okay, then. So this actually happened a few months ago at my job. Long story short, coworker got promoted to a new supervisor position for all the wrong reasons. She's besties with the boss and gives them relationship advice on the side. I mean, that can work out. Did she earn her position? Our team handles many types of incoming requests, phone calls, emails, tickets, even a printer jobs that get printed out automatically. We have a really chill system that actually works. Everyone helped where needed, and the manager trusted us to get the work done. As they should. I mean, as long as the work's getting done, that's all that you need to do as a manager. Nobody tracked individual stats or micromanaged. We just got everything handled and kept things running smoothly, and it has been that way in this department for probably 30 years now. When my new supervisor comes along, I guess she decides she wants to tighten things up or increase accountability or something. Let me guess, she didn't even wait a minute before she started trying to change things. Her big idea: from now on, I'll be tracking phone calls for performance metrics. Make sure everyone's doing their job and no one's slacking. I mean, if everything's getting done and everyone's doing their job, some people might be better at doing the emails than they are at doing the phone calls. And I mean, as long as the phone calls are getting done whether it's by another person. Who cares? Who cares who's doing them as long as they're getting done? So, of course, we asked, what about tickets and emails? Those take most of the time. She says, well, there's no way to measure those right now, so we really can't track that. Okay. So, of course, everyone does exactly what she's asked. Phone rings, answer it immediately. If we are working on an email, a phone comes in, put it on pause and answer the call. Working on a ticket, pause, got to answer a call. So, naturally, emails start piling up in the shared inbox. Tickets sit untouched in the internal portal, which management still doesn't know how to run reports on. Oh, that's good. And the printer starts piling up paper in front of it. After a couple of days, people from other departments, people from our satellite offices, and even some of our external customers start emailing asking if we're backed up because nobody's responding to tickets or emails. One guy even came down in person to ask why no one has reached out to him about the email he sent. When asked what was going on, we just repeated the supervisor told us focus on phones since that's what matters. A few days later, I saw the supervisor get called into a meeting with the boss. Uh-oh. She comes out and she's clearly annoyed and sends out a message on Teams saying, please remember that all work types are important, not just phone calls. And just like that, the performance tracking policy quietly vanished. We're back for doing all the work again the same way we've been doing it successfully for years. Edit. It seems a lot of people who don't understand workflow. Before, if a ticket or email comes in, you take yourself off the phone queue to work on it. But now I'm going to take myself off the phone queue to work a ticket, I'll look like I'm not doing no work. Strange Compote said, well, coworker got promoted to a new supervisor position for all the wrong reasons. She's bestie with the boss and gives him relationship advice on the side. I've been reading the exact same sentence for the last five posts, at least five posts in 10 days. It does happen a lot more than it should. Um, but if bosses, if you're friends with a subordinate, make sure that they are capable of the promotion you wish to give them, and make sure there's a top person that's capable of that and not somebody else. Squirrel. There's a squirrel outside. Our last post today is from Petty Revenge. You yelled at me for not using the compost. Fine, I'll chew you out about being a creep in front of your wife. Okay. All caps. I finally got something to post here. I'm still high on the adrenaline for this one. This happened like 10 minutes ago as I'm writing this. Context: I, 21 female, live with my mom and stepdad, mid 50s, at my stepdad's parents' place, mid 70s. So she lives with her step parents. That's a lot of people in one house. My parents have lived here for 10 years now, and I used to visit a lot when I was a kid. I've lived here now for about a year after leaving my father's place. Stepdad's stepdad, Lee, is an absolute creep. So why are you living there? I would not want to live with a creep. He's not subtle about it, too. Everyone in the family knows it. I genuinely can't tell if his wife is oblivious to it or just doesn't care. 10 years ago, he tried getting me to spend time with him in his office by showing me animal videos and to get me into the Diablo games. Thanks to my instincts around predatory men, thanks, Dad, I did not go into that office again. My stepsisters all experienced him creeping on them too. We've made it clear he's not invited to their gatherings. He got scammed $30,000 from one of those fake girlfriend emails. Who paid it off? His wife. He leaves his phone upright in the kitchen counter and gets Discord notifications from the furry hypothesis Discord he's on. Furry, furry hypnosis, sorry. He leaves his phone upright in the kitchen counter and gets Discord notifications from the furry hypnosis Discord he's on. He only speaks to me or looks at me if I'm wearing shorts, makeup, or a skirt, or if I have a girlfriend over. Otherwise, complete radio silence. I had enough of it today. I have raging PMS right now. I can hardly stand being around my favorite people right now. So being around people I hate, definitely not easy. I usually let try to get this rage out at the gym, so I got in some shorts and on my way out, I see this MFer staring at me. I was so close to saying something, but I figured I should just go and let the adrenaline out and then come home and eat and sleep. Done. After I came home, I finished my dinner and was just sitting at the table texting my friend, and he came to the table to monitor his insulin. I left the table. I wasn't I wasn't just going to sit there and watch him. For some reason, that triggered something in him. Maybe he could sense I was in a shitty mood, and and took that personally. I throw away my scraps in the garbage, and he comes up to me, gets in my face, and yells something along the lines, food, like edible food, it goes into the compost. Um, that's not correct. Um, if your food has meat in it, you should not be putting it in the compost because that attracts critters. A lot more critters than just vegetables and fruit will. He aggressively opens the cabinet under the sink in the compost bin like a raging child, there, in there, and stomps away. As he's going away, I said has that always been the case? Bro, I'd been here off and on for 10 years, and instead of them saying I need to put food in the compost every single time, he waits for a moment for me to yell about it. He's hard of hearing, so he didn't hear me yell. Didn't hear me. Stare Him staring at me earlier than yelling at me was enough. I went over to the living room where he sat down by his wife, and the conversation went like this. Some error, I can't remember the exact wording, of course. Me, hey, has that always been the case? Am I supposed to put food in the compost? Them, yeah. Me, living here for a year and never been told. Wife, didn't I just didn't know you were doing that. This is a lie. They have been multitude of times he's been doing the dishes at the sink next to the trash when I throw food away. Me, I've noticed it a lot of times you won't find out I'm doing something wrong until there's this big angry outburst about it. If I'm doing something wrong, you need to tell me about it when I do it. Lee, every time I tell you, you take it wrong. This was very confusing as he told me This was very confusing as everything he told me to do to take care of the shared spaces I've constantly done. He stopped telling me to do these things after I asked him if he washed his hands after peeing. He didn't. And then he went out and made dinner for him and his wife. I wish I was making this up. And this is when I chewed him out. Me. Do you have examples of me doing that? I've done everything you've asked. And actually, if you need something from me, I want wife to tell me. You make me extremely uncomfortable. You only ever talk to me when I'm wearing a skirt. You stare at me when I'm wearing shorts. You only talk to me when I have girlfriends over. And when I was a kid, you tried to get me to spend time with you in your office. Also, you leave your phone out on the kitchen counter. I'm not trying to read what's on it, but you leave your notifications on, and what's on there is extremely inappropriate. Wife, I just didn't know you weren't using the compost. Oh my. Lee has a moment where he can't talk, and oh my God, the look of defeat on his face was legendary. His face just went emotionless. He shrunk down so much it got all quiet after yelling and said, "How about I ignore you and you ignore me?" And I gave him a thumbs up and went to my room. Edit. For some reason, this Reddit didn't post this on the forum I typed it in. Hopefully it's fixed now. Edit 2. I should have mentioned that yes, I'm in the process of moving out. I'm not insane LMAO. I'm not staying here. Zesty Close Drivers says, top comment says, the wife's immediate pivot back to the compost was just the ultimate denial. It's wild that the family's solution is to just manage the symptoms of his behavior and instead of addressing the predator in the room. You absolutely did the right thing by calling it out so clearly. Yeah. Yeah, that's wild. Maybe we should put him in the compost because he sounds like trash. I mean, it's possible maybe he was just trying to make a connection with the kids, but the fact that he only talks to her when she's wearing a skirt or shorts is really creepy. Really creepy. And he didn't deny it. He did not deny it at all. Did not deny it at all. That's telling. Yeah, red flags. All right, well that's all I got for today. Make sure you're here probably tomorrow. If I'm not here tomorrow, I'll be here Wednesday. If I am here tomorrow, I will probably not be here on Wednesday. And I gotta go figure out my schedule for the rest of the day because it sounds like I'm driving an hour there and an hour back for something, which is fine. I love my kids. All right, take care, everybody. Bye. Oh, that was long. Yeah. Ooh, I forgot to end my stream. I forgot to end my stream. Oh my goodness. That was a long one. Bye. End.